Wonderful, we are back on. So we're going to move on to item number 8, unfinished business and business arising from the minutes. So 8.1, the Pouce Senior Support Services. I'd like to make the first recommendation that council approve the memorandum of understanding with the South Peace Community Resource Society for the delivery of the Better at Home programming in Pouce Coupe and authorize the mayor and interim CAO to execute the agreement on behalf of the village. I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Wall, thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Rebel?
So I had sent in an email to all of council and to the CAO just from last meeting, looking at it, saying, hey, here are some of my questions and concerns. I do apologize, I wasn't able to actually see the responding text in it, but I just wanted to ask, have those considerations been implemented or have those questions been answered?
Those questions were answered by Mr. Malcolmson, yes.
I can go through them really quickly
if possible, just to keep it transparent, because I couldn't get it. So.
Of course, yeah, there were 2 changes that I think we can clarify prior to execution, but I'll let you pull it up here. Okay,
I would just like to caution any changes to these MOUs as they are drafted in consultation with the Better at Home, who is funding the program, could potentially change the wording of the MOU and get us right back to square one.
Good point.
Just putting that out there.
Good point. I think the 2 suggestions that Councillor Rebel pointed out seem no harm, no foul. For instance, putting the name of the interim CAO on the signature box there.
Okay.
Should be fine.
Yeah.
I think there was another spelling correction, or rather clarification to repayment terms, section D3
yes.
in the term of agreement refers to contract being paid net 30 days rather than invoice. So we can clarify language from contract to invoice.
Okay.
That should be just fine, and I'm million% certain that there'll be no objections to that. So there were some other items that were included in there that were service level and quality level questions. From a high level perspective, I think that a lot of the service aspects that are included in here are in part the reason why Pouce is hoping to build this relationship in the first place, where we can manage this relationship over time. For instance, questions about let me see here. There's questions about I think cleaning of some of the objects in the house, ensuring training of some of the staff on hazardous materials or cleaning materials. Some of those things, I think this agreement will provide a framework for us to manage that over time. I do appreciate you sharing your preferences or your concerns on that, because that'll be something that we can look to incorporate into the structure that the agreements will provide.
Yeah, and this has been, we've been working on this for about a year. This has been a long time coming. This has been identified by the community, something that they would definitely like to see, and I'm so thankful for the South Peace Community Resource Society for working with us over the past year, as well as United Way for completely funding it too, right? So, any other questions regarding the recommendation?
Well, just to note too, some of that was based off the advocacy work that this group did last year when we went down to UBC.
Yes. Yes, Councillor Rebel.
And then C, communication under C for underspent funds. It will be refunded to the village if there's a termination in that fiscal year. So I see that's kind of an improvement there. That unspent funds, it sounds like there's the intent for unspent funds if the program continues to be transferred to the next year for investments in, say, infrastructure like fridges and whatever. But if they're not spent and the program's canceled, then it is transferred back and then it gets refunded back to the grant supplier, is my understanding.
That is a risk. I think the margin on that is going to be exceedingly low. I think it's a fairly low risk if indeed it is.
Their goal is to serve as many people as possible within the program.
And I do apologize because in the responding email I believe that it was responded to, and I trust that. It's just simply I didn't receive it. I couldn't see it. But on the rates and disbursement, I'm assuming that the reason for January 2nd being the date is probably because January 1st is a business banking holiday.
That's what I suspect.
Okay.
But yeah, we can, either way, I can quickly note that. Again, that'll be, if anything, like graphical change that we can make prior to execution, if it is indeed an error.
I had a lovely list of questions. I apologize.
They were great.
anyways, I do think this is an important program. I think people should pick up a shovel and help their neighbor at all times. I think that's a good place to start for sure. This is a wonderful program. It's just all the technicalities of it. So, anyways, as long as this meets the terms of the grant and that the supplier is willing to move forward with it and that it considers the needs and constraints that might be given by clients, that people feel, comfortable and are embracing the program instead potentially being deterred from the program because they feel maybe not so comfortable. It's making sure that our seniors are feeling comfortable with this program so they access the services, so that the services are a benefit, right?
They're very excited.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to call the question then. All those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried. Someone like to read recommendation number 2?
The council approved the service agreement with Dawson Creek Society for Community Living for the delivery of Better at Home programming in Pouce-Coupe and authorized the mayor and interim CAO to execute an agreement on behalf of the village.
Can I get a seconder? Councillor Whittle, thank you. Discussion? All those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried. Wonderful, thank you so
When
much.
you say that, you have to stop looking
Huh? If there's any discussion, I should just not.
everywhere except.
You can get away with that, I cannot.
Any discussion?
We all just stare at Councilor Rebel, yeah. Okay, moving on to new business 9.1. So we would like to,
That council authorized the issuance of temporary use permit number TUP 2025-01 to LNV Energy Services for 5601 52nd Street, Pouce-Coupe, BC, to permit the temporary placement and operation of a tented structure and sea-can container as accessory buildings, notwithstanding the 3.0 meter setback requirement of zoning bylaw number 1058, 2024.
seconder? Seconded by Councilor Wall, thank you. Discussion? Councilor Wall?
Regarding the 3 meter setback requirement, this temporary structure would not be conforming within that 3 meter setback, would it?
That's correct. That's what the TUP will authorize, intends to authorize.
Also notwithstanding the 3 meter setback. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
It's suspending,
yeah.
suspending that setback.
It's going to be encroaching on it. That's correct,
That's
right?
correct, yeah.
Councilor Rebel?
My understanding from my interpretation of the information provided is that this structure would be then too close to a potential future right-of-way that is not currently being used as a right-of-way. Am I correct in that understanding? Therefore, it's potentially it's not encroaching, it's potentially butting up against something that isn't currently being used as a right-of-way, but there's all the potential in the future of a right-of-way being utilized, right? That's my understanding.
Through your worship, in this case, the TUP is seeking to offer relief from the zoning bylaw setback from the 3 meters. The encroachment isn't so relevant to this particular item on the agenda, but there is some paperwork later in the agenda for your consideration in that regard on the encroachment.
Councilor Rebel?
Sorry, I may have used the not the correct word. I didn't mean encroachment. I'm understanding that this structure is going to be built right to the edge of what could be a future right-of-way.
Right.
That's my understanding, and that's what we're giving exemption to.
Yes.
And there's no member of the public here, so and this conforms to the Local Government Act, and we've followed the pieces that we need to, and it's all good on that. And does this need to go to further consideration, or is it ready to rumble?
It's ready to rock.
Ready to rock.
It's also, your worship, but it's the end along road.
Okay.
The applicants, they've been discussing this with the village for some time. I think they're quite eager to have these favored properly.
It's important that we consider these.
Any other discussion or questions? Let me call the question then. All those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried. Thank you. All right. Moving on to item 9.2.
Recommendation is that council receive the report for information regarding the contract award.
Yep. Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councilor Whittle. Thank you. I don't know if you would like to just quickly present on this, Mr. Malkinson, just to give some background, and then
Did I hear correct? This is paving?
yes, this
Okay.
is item 9.2.
Thank you.
You're
Sorry about that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, this is presented for council's information. Spent a lot of money last week. And some folks in the community or among council might have seen crews at work repairing some spots that have been identified by the public works crew over last year. Because of the compressed schedule to quote some of the work, and because of our fears about the fall weather catching us quite soon, we ended up doing a single source award to the one firm that was able to do all the work in one shot, just to get the work done. We obviously take sole source authorizations seriously, and next year we're hoping to do a nice procurement, front loaded, so that we can have different folks, including some folks have shot at it.
One of the biggest issues that we ran into is that a lot of the paving companies during the summer are working for highways, and because we are a very small municipality with a very small paving budget of $250,000, we are tiny little fish in a very big sea. And so there wasn't a lot of interest in taking on this job because it's not very cost effective for those larger paving companies. And so we really had a hard time finding anybody really even interested in putting in a quote. So thankfully, it was Procore that ended up coming forward for it. Thankfully, they were willing to take on the work. They were the only company willing to take it on because it is such a small job. Again, this is an issue that we have ran into year over year, where the paving contracts are just not large enough for us to get larger paving companies. So hopefully we have more options next year, but I am thankful that Procore was willing to take on this small little minnow of a paving job for us, and I'm excited to see the work done before winter, because I know that there is areas that the community has been wanting to see fixed in the past year, and I'm excited to. Yes, Councilor Battle.
It's good to see stuff move forward. So my questions are, so this comes in under budget of what we had budgeted for, and are there plans for accessing, various entrances and all that? Like, there's going to be, plans made so that folks can still access their properties, that if there's paving in front of the fire hall, that the fire hall is still able to move trucks in and out and still attend to emergency calls. So basically, is it under budget? And is there a plan to help ensure that folks can access their properties?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I probably mix Madam Chair and Your Worship. Sorry.
No, that's totally fine. Whatever you're.
Stupid RD stuff. So yes, under budget. Total quoted amount was 187,123.55. There's a slight, we did a swap in one of the scopes today, which I think brought the total contract value to 186 all in. It was just we swapped one thing for the other. So yes, under budget compared to the 250 allocated amount for this year. The other aspect of managing the change and communicating with residents, it's something that probably put a little bit of pressure on Chad on. Kind of, hey, are we following up? We went personally to every resident that might have impacts yesterday, and gave them a written notice. So if anybody is having access to their parcel in an hour, inhibited, made contact with them. We are trying to limit any potential disruptions to that. Certain points in that work is getting fixed. And some of those landlords have mentioned that they're happy to see that work fixed. It's a small disturbance. In case of the fire hall, we were initially going to parse the work, do step one, serving phase one, maybe two, and then do step two. But crews did test it out this morning that it's ready to exit on the lot by taking a hard left turn right as they do it. So you can see them out there practicing.
So they can still get out. Okay, that's fair.
Perfect. Any other questions? So just for clarification, Mr. Malkinson, so you're not needing any resolution from us allowing this to happen?
This
Just
is, yeah, correct, Your Worship.
information because it was identified in the budget.
And because I used a pretty big exception in the policy to spend a lot of money. Normally this kind of stuff would go to all of you because of the time sensitivity and worries about impact to budget and our difficulties in quoting voting it this year. Figured it was transparent that we report it to you guys to say, hey, we made an exception to the purchasing policy this year.
I'll motion to accept Mr. Malcolm's report for information.
Okay, thank you. Oh, you already did, didn't you? I didn't second that. Somebody did.
Oh,
All right, either way, we are all good, yes.
Well, I guess the positives, well, thank you for letting us know, but the positives are it's coming in under budget, it's a local company with local folks, and it's gonna be completed by the time the snow flies. Okay, well,
Well, nice thing with it is Procore's already doing some other work in the village, right? So we already have nice thing is we already have a bit of a relationship with that company.
and then for next year, we'll have a process for bidding, where everyone can come and throw their bids, as we usually do anyways.
Okay, I'm gonna call the question, then all those in favor for receiving for information? And that is unanimous and carried. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, moving on to, number 10, resolutions. Anyone want to take on 10.1?
That council supports the UBCM Strategic Priorities Capital Fund Capital Stream Grant application.
Okay.
Kind of bad.
Seconded by Councillor Whittle, thank you. Now I know,
Fire truck.
so there's the stream grant application and then the building grant application under 10.2. Are those two different or are they not the same?
There's a capital and a capacity stream for strategic priorities fund, worship. The report, the first report in the agenda refers to resolution of support, which is a requirement of the grant, to apply for the, SPF, capital application to the fire truck itself. The second one is the brief description of the scope for a separate application for strategic priorities fund, application for some long-term infrastructure planning. So it's a capacity.
And just a question, are we including the park update in this?
So I was going to recommend, Your Worship, if we've done some of the planning and project chartering for the park project, staff identified that the Strategic Priorities Fund capital might be a viable application for the park right next to the village office. So if council was willing, we'd recommend that council pass a resolution in support of an application to the UBCM Strategic Priorities Fund for that project as well.
Okay, so just for ease and transparency, I think we'll go through 10.1, which is the fire truck. Then we'll go through 10.2, which is the infrastructure planning project. And then at the end of 10.2, we'll do a separate recommendation for the park.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to continue on with 10.1. So if you have any questions or comments, it needs to be regarding the fire truck procurement application. For transparency.
Just in the interest of staff time, is it better to combine the fire truck and park into the capital, which is what we're talking about in 10.1, or is it better to have it as a separate resolution for capital?
I'm smiling, Your Worship, because we Jimmy and I had a back and forth on this. We were furiously Googling this a couple of days ago. Does it need to be separate? Yes, it is.
Okay, that makes sense.
They normally do, yeah.
For all these respective grant applications, there are some costs that might potentially be borne by the village that are associated with administration and acquisition of this grant or application of this grant. What does that look like versus it seems like 100% of the actual fire truck is being covered, which sounds lovely. Let's get we've got hourly limits with our fire trucks. We've got to make sure they're up to snuff, insurable, all this good stuff.
Asset management, yep.
Exactly. Anyways, my question is, okay, wonderful. This sounds like it's going to cover 100% of the truck, but are there additional costs that the village will have to bear because of this grant application?
For Your Worship, yeah, there are a few additional costs. One is on the grant management side. We do suspect that some of the grant management or project management expenses that have already been incurred prior to the application will likely require payment outside of this. So probably be a separate report on that. There was some information presented to council at the last meeting about the implications that are anticipated through that, but at a high level, I believe it was, I can't 100% remember the percentages right now, so I'll be a fool to try to repeat them, but there were some implications of what we reported.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it roughly if we got a grant of that 1.2 million for the new fire truck, potentially
we're on the hook for about 100,000 of that.
Yeah,
Roughly.
It's about 10% or something, or
10 on the first mill,
Yeah.
5%.
5%
thereafter.
thereafter, yeah.
So that changes things between the two teams, but
Yes, Councilor.
And can we fund that grant-seeking portion from capital, or does that have to be operational funding?
So that would actually run under a form of operational.
Which we.
But if you're paying $100,000 to
Nothing's
make over
free.
$1 million, that's right, it's one of those balancing acts where, you know what, it does take a lot of time to do the administrative work for these grants. These are very large grants, they do require a large amount of reporting. And, you know, that was one of the biggest things that when we signed on with Grant Match, we knew that there would be a bit of cost to it, but as long as the grant reward was larger than the overall cost, the community overall.
My last question regarding this, the reason we are pursuing this is because one of our trucks is off the road.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to proceed with this anyways.
Well, either that or we're paying the 1.3 million all by ourselves.
Oh, well, it's not the best.
It's really not, so we should
Okay.
definitely go forward with it. Okay, any other questions? I'm gonna call the question then on 10.1, all those in favor? That is unanimous and carried, thank you. Okay, resolution 10.2.
The whole thing.
who's done?
That council supports UBCM Strategic Priorities Fund Capacity Building Grant application.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
By Councilor Rowell, thank you. Discussion? So just so everybody knows, this is sort of that long-term infrastructure planning project, but if I remember correctly, this is tied to asset management, correct?
Very much so, your worship. Some of the items in this scope of work are asset condition assessments of village assets, asset management / life cycle reserve model refinement, policy development and council support, and data integration and TCA system upgrades. So linking Mr. McPhail's prior work with some of the planning we have with Josh's.
Yes, wonderful. Good, good, good. This is something that needs to be done. This is actually like, you know, the province is really pushing for municipalities to really take their asset management by the horns. This is very, very important. We've done a lot of those first steps, but this is really getting us to where we finally need.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this could be a legislative requirement that we do this.
I think it
Because
is,
we're
yes.
applying for a grant to be able to afford to do it.
Yes.
It's a legislative requirement, we have asset management, so yeah, okay.
Yes, Councilor Rebel.
And the intent of this is to get us to the finish line with our asset management project so that we're done, we're in compliance with the province's future requirements.
It will be done with asset.
Well, it's always ongoing.
Well, the hope is too, with bringing this to completion, and correct me if I'm wrong, that, as we go forward, that there might be other grants that might come available provincially or federally. And with having all our ducks in a row, then we have an opportunity to apply for these grants or asset management down the road or asset replacement.
Because we know what we need and we've got a plan.
And allow staff to long-term forecast and look at grants and budgeting.
Gentlemen, if we could keep cross-talking during this meeting tonight, we're gonna be here till 1 a.m. We're gonna move on. All right, so I'm gonna call the question. All those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried. Thank you very, very much. I would also like to make the recommendation that council support the UBCM strategic capital one streaming grant
That's correct.
for upgrades to the office park application. Sorry. Support an application, I'm going to reword that, recommendation that the council supports an application to the UBCM Strategic Priorities Fund Capital Streaming Grant. Can I get a seconder for the office park? Nobody's going to second me on getting a grant for park, you're killing me.
This is for 10.3? Or is
It's a new.
This is an addition to 10.2.
Sorry, and so what are you asking on this exactly?
I am asking for staff to be allowed to apply for the UBCM Strategic Priorities Fund Capital Streaming Grant application.
Oh, sure.
Park.
I was confused.
No, that's fine. That has been seconded by Councilor Wall. Any discussion regarding the park? This is, the biggest thing is when we've discussed the park earlier in the year, council wishes to have the park 100% grant funded, which is great, but I need permission to go out for the grants, right? So
So correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't we done that like twice already? We've given you permission to go for grants for this as long as you're not spending residents' taxpayer money on the park?
For your worship, the trick here's the resolution.
Okay, so we need a resolution to go for it, so it's not, you're not seeking our permission to go do it, because you've got that multiple times now.
Correct.
We're looking for a resolution to.
It would take the format of the UBCM
Oh, okay.
grant requirements, yes. So the committing to cost overruns, et cetera, et cetera.
I was confused.
No,
about the way you
no,
said
no,
it first
that's,
time.
it was,
That's why I was getting some
not-
clarification, because we've authorized you to go for grants on that multiple times.
Multiple times, I know, I'm trying. Counselor Rob.
Just to ensure, because for these other items, we have budgetary lines, is there an approved plan for the park with, costing?
So if you remember, we had Park and Play, I think it was, came to council about 2 months ago. They presented a park design and quote at that time that council had accepted. It was the train theme.
With the
So-
Mayor Beach tickets.
Sorry.
No worries.
That's really
And so we're going to be going forward with that. So we will be using that park design and then that quote. If you start laughing, I'm gonna start laughing, and then we're both a mess. We're gonna be using that to apply for the application.
Yeah, that was the design that tied in with, I don't know if you guys were here for that, but the design ties in nicely with the museum.
Oh,
It's
it's
got the train and kind of a mimic of the museum.
This
and
is the
it's
one that Public
accessible.
Works would be potentially
Yeah.
able to help with the
Yeah,
construction.
and it's fully accessible and it's.
And it's reasonably priced.
Reasonably priced, yeah. I think it's around 460,000 if I remember correctly.
Rough range that
Mr. Host giving me the nods.
And in the 1 point.
Yes, Councilor Rob.
But the risk with this is the village might incur a cost, a percentage,
If-
because of this grant,
Yes,
to pay the grant
Yeah.
applying.
it'd be that 10% up to the first meeting.
this wouldn't be our hope that this wouldn't be a distinct application. We could bump these two together and
So save some cost.
5% on top of the however many for the fire truck.
Would all three be together, or just capital and capacity and then capital 2.0?
Capital and capacity building, we have noted as separate from grant match, but I do need to confirm that. Sorry.
So if we submit for this and we're not successful, then we're not on the hook, we're not obligated.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
All right, I'm gonna call the question then. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed?
Would you like your opposed noted?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 10.3, if somebody would like to take that on.
The council support the grant application to the Northern Development Initiative Trust for Community Places Program and to authorize staff to prepare and submit a council support letter to Myriad Consulting, the grant writer, as part of the application package.
Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councilor Whittle, thank you. Discussion?
Sorry, Your Worship, I'm talking a lot during this meeting.
No, please.
Just for council's reflection, I did connect with Myriad this afternoon. This application is intended for the also.
That's why.
It's been in the docket for a number of months.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We're trying. I said I'm trying to get all the grant money I can. Okay, Councilor Rabel?
So this is for 70% up to 30,000?
Correct.
And then the proposed park would be about 100,000 though.
No, it's about 460,000.
Oh, okay, so that's quite a bit, but
Well,
it's up to 30,000,
Yeah.
70% would be.
So we've already been awarded about $60,000 in grants. So we have $60,000 so far. This could potentially be another 30, and then that would get us up to 90. So we're getting there. These large grants like the UBCM grant that has come out, they're not an all the time kind of a thing, as you guys know, and you have to jump on them whenever they come. So
Very heavily subscribed, I should add.
yes.
It's gonna be very competitive for the
Yeah,
UBCM.
it is. So we need to keep applying for as many grants as we possibly can.
But besides the hypothetical 30% coverage piece, there's not a cost with the grant application or administration fees
With
or
this
something
No,
borne by the
no.
village.
This one is done by a separate firm, Myriad Consulting.
Yeah. Who is also
So not even the staff time?
If we did want to look at that, there has been staff, time that's gone into developing this application. There's been, but again, I can't speak extensively to that because it precedes myself being here.
But yeah, for the minimal staff,
Nothing's free.
compared to what the potential return is on it, I think it's definitely worth it for the community.
Okay. I'm gonna call the question then. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Opposed?
Would you like your opposed noted?
Yes.
Moving on to correspondence 11 Is there anything anybody would like to lift from correspondence? Councillor Wall?
I would like to make the recommendation that council accept all correspondence as information.
I don't know if anybody will second you on that one, they're really looking.
If I may be so bold, I think we should talk about at least 11.3, 11.5, and 11.6.
Yeah, I was gonna say 11.5.
So you would like to lift 11.3, 11.5, and 11.6?
Well, 11.6, yeah.
Okay, so then I'm,
Excluding 11.3,
How about we
11.1.
how about you, nobody seconded your recommendation, so if you'd like to have it be for 11.1, 11.2, and 11.4, that would be wonderful.
Might as well add 5 and 6 in there.
Well, no, he
No.
wants to talk on those.
People want to talk about 11.3,
Yes,
so 11.1,
11.2,
11.2.
and 11.4 for information.
Okay, I would like to make the recommendation that council accept 11.1, 11.2, and 11.4 as information.
Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Woodall, thank you very much. Discussion regarding receiving for information? All those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried, thank you. Okay, Councillor Rowley, you would like to speak towards 11.3?
Yes, the council received the UBCM resolution on emergency water treatment plants brought forward by the Village of Lions Bay Council for discussion and potential endorsement.
Can I get a seconder? Thank you, seconded by Councillor Woodall, thank you. Discussion?
As mentioned, as discussed in our previous meeting, which was Committee of the Whole, I'm in favor of supporting this resolution for in spirit of having portable emergency water treatment plants that can be relocated to communities experiencing wildfires. However, I'm not totally clear on how the contaminants entering the water stream suddenly requires an additional treatment plant and all that business. But I do appreciate the spirit of it, and I believe we should support it for that.
Okay, and so are you looking to
Endorse this resolution for
endorse
UBCM.
it or put forward a letter of support either way?
Is much of a difference?
I think endorsing one is where you try to tack your name onto it, if I remember correctly, where a letter of support is you just add a letter of support.
Letter of support is
Okay,
my
perfect.
suggestion.
I'm just looking for that clarification.
Yeah, fair enough. We can happily do either. I've got a resolution prepared here if you guys do want to move forward with that.
Swanky. I therefore motion that that we as a council send a letter of support supporting this resolution from Lions Bay.
Can I get a second? Seconded by Councillor Wall, thank you. Discussion regarding letter of support? All those in favor? And that is unanimous and carried, thank you. Okay, Councillor Rabble, you wanted to speak to, oh no, Councillor Whittle, do you want to speak to 11.5?
Yeah, I just wanted to lift 11.5. Right, the Peace River Regional District demolition permit referral. The council received the Peace River Regional District letter for demolition permit referral and discussion.
Second.
Thank you. And to my understanding, I'm just going to pull it up here, so I have it right in front of me in a second. They are basically, to my understanding, they're looking at not issuing demolition permits because of capacity within the landfills right now. So that creates issues if there's larger scale projects or larger projects that need to be demolished and removed because they're currently not holding space within the current landfills. So just something to be aware of for.
Yeah, and then just so that this council is aware, while this does include regional landfills, it does not include hazardous landfills like the one out in Swan Hills. So.
That's out of our regional district.
No, I know, but it is one that's often used for a lot of spots. Wanted to make that clear.
My understanding is basically the PRD is saying, hey, just notify us when buildings and bigger buildings are getting demolished so that we can, make sure that we're not overloading our landfills. But then my question is, it sounds like it's not infringing on our ability to issue demolition permits in the village, but it would take just an additional step in staff time of notifying them. Does that need to be, I know this sounds extremely operational, I apologize, but just for oversight purposes to ensure compliance with this suggestion, would there just need to be, would this be kind of a word of mouth thing? Do we need to add it into a policy, a bylaw, something else, or is it just fine as is?
I think, if council does want us to, you know, acknowledge and, you know, incorporate this into our processes. If you pass a resolution, we'd add it to the demo permit that we have in file.
I think it'd be notable because it's gonna impact a project if somebody needs to take it, and it's gonna take time to get space in one of the landfills or figure out what landfill, because that's gonna impact their trucking costs and their demo costs, so I think it'd be our due diligence to include it.
Are you making that recommendation, Councillor Whittle?
I'll make the recommendation that we include the, August 18th, 2025, notice for demolition permit referral.
To our permits?
To our permit process as information.
Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Ravel, thank you.
If I may, I would just suggest a friendly amendment to direct staff to operationalize this in the demolition process, not the specific letter itself. I think just adding it to whatever permit makes more sense. And just entrusting staff to put it in where they see fit, and then it doesn't have to come back to us.
Are you looking to make an amendment to the?
That is my suggested amendment.
Does it really need to be that defined? Because if it's part of the letter's part of it, would not be included with it. Like, do you need that final definition on it, or?
I think I did see the two as, you know, the two suggestions as joined at the hip. You know, the recommendation as Councilor Whittle offered probably gives us the leeway we need to, you know, make sure that that's incorporated into the process.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
I seconded that.
Yes. Yeah. Any other discussion regarding the recommendation on the floor? Can we call question, then all those in favor? Unanimous and carried, thank you. All right.
11.6, the council received the Pooskoopi Museum letter, signed board support request for discussion.
Okay, seconded. Seconded by Councillor Wall. Thank you. Discussion, Councillor Wall.
From my understanding, the museum has $25,000 set aside to purchase a sign. They're undecided on the location of the sign. They're asking us for some financial support if the sign would cost greater than $25,000.
Yeah, my understanding as well is that they're looking to also kind of have us help them a little bit with talks about, you know, working with them on finding out different places to put it. I know that there was multiple discussions around maybe we should put it back on the school where the original electronic sign was, which would involve our staff just reaching out and sort of liaisoning between those two parties in that conversation. So I just want to make sure that when if a recommendation is put on the floor regarding the village moving forward to work with the museum on this sign, please include that the staff are allowed to work with them in conjunction. Thank you.
So that's what they're asking for.
They're asking for a mixture of things. So they are asking for staff support to help them find space, as well as the village's interest in funding a new sign as well. So it's a kind of a two-parter, but you could put both of that within the overall recommendation.
Recommendation staff to bring back a report.
May I allow Councillor Ravel?
Of course, I'm just writing down my thing.
That's fine. Councillor Ravel?
I think the sign's a great idea. I love that they're trying to open it up to all the other nonprofits in Poos in the area. But, and I think that the village and the museum and the school district and other stakeholders should be involved in this discussion. I think the first piece is discussion, and then if there's money needed in the future, that's maybe the next part two piece. I think we should empower the discussions to happen first off. That's what I think we should go with first.
I think one of the other things that council should potentially look at is there might be some advertising grants out there for tourism. And so, you know, once that discussion and placement has been had, we could potentially use the information gathered from that to forward off to our grant writer to see if there's any tourism or advertising grants as well. Just to kind of, you know, while poor Councillor Wall is scribbling, trying to get all that in there. Okay. Are you ready? You feeling good?
No.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Okay, I have a motion.
Yeah.
My motion is to direct staff to support the museum in finding a suitable location for their sign and help find appropriate funding with the museum for that sign.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Seconded by Councillor
Does that
Whittle.
cover it?
I like it. It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It's a nice starting bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Part that I might suggest would be just the communication aspect. Just, you know,
and allow communication directly between staff and the museum
And interested parties.
and other interested parties.
Perfect. Are you still willing to second?
Yeah.
Yes, that sounds wonderful.
There's other interested parties, at least gives you that leeway that if you want to engage the other nonprofits or charitable organizations within and around Bruce Coopy as well.
You have a comment, Mr. Malcolmson?
Yep, just a quick update. I did have some conversations today with School District 59 representatives on a different topic. Spoiler alert, but I did give them a heads up that this was a conversation that had been referred to us. I do have a meeting scheduled with them probably the first week of October here, so I'm suspecting that we can discuss a little bit of that. I'll be happy to get a report back from council and see what kind of options there are for funding, partnership, etc. And maybe a little bit on management too.
Cool.
Yeah, because I know from our discussions with them, that was something they were potentially interested in as well, is that the village take on the management of the software and not really good, more the technical side of things.
Get a little annoying sometimes, but it's not.
We got people. Got good people.
We get smacked.
All right, I'm going to call the question then. All those in favor? And that is unanimously carried. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to item number 12.1.
I can't believe I'm going to do this.
Do it.
I'm going to recommend that the Village of Goose Coopy Official Community Plan Bylaw number 1053/2025 be read for a second time and that a public hearing be scheduled in accordance with the requirements of the Local Government Act and the Village Public Notice Bylaw 1051/2023.
Am I going to second her?
Seriously? I do it and nobody else does?
Okay, that has been seconded by Councillor Whittle. I was about to second it. We don't do that very often, but yes, Councillor Whittle.
Grant me some leeway here, and nothing against Mr. Malkinson because you're new to the game. This has come back to us multiple times. Multiple times, we've been told that for the public session portion of it, that was acceptable to do here.
Yeah.
When it went through its multiple readings and then came back through multiple more readings to find out that not all the changes were made that were supposed to happen and everything else. So, what's going on with this?
So we're at the second reading. The changes that council voted on at the last council meeting were accepted and made. And now, once the second reading is done, we can go to the public hearing, which we will hold here, which we had discussed. And then once the public hearing schedule has been completed, then we can move on to third reading and adoption.
All right, because this is something that through staffing changes and contractor,
Yeah, we're getting it. We are good.
that we've just been spinning our wheels on
Yes.
this.
Nope, we
After
are.
2 years, it took Mr. Malkinson like what, a month?
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Just needed you.
There we go.
Yeah. Yes, Councillor Rebel.
Okay, so this has gone through the gauntlet of all the required agencies, the ALC, Northern Health, other agencies.
Mhm.
It's good with the province, it's good with Bill 40 or 44, whichever one that particular one was, to meet compliances, which is due by the end of this year. It's good with our legal team, it's good with, well, the public will get their second shake at this for sure. We've had public hearings. What I'm getting at is, is it in compliance with current legislation? And has it gone through the appropriate gauntlet of input from the respective required agencies?
Yes, Mr. Malkinson.
So, I did prepare a little bit of a summary here. So the update process started in 2023. But yes, this draft incorporates Bill 44. We consulted with ALC, Northern Health, PRRD, School District 59, Ministry of Transport. Housing needs assessment from 2024, at least the interim is incorporated in there. And we have the housing needs for the capacity and land needs analysis in there. Yes, we did get back legal. Only minor edits were made at that time. And yeah, we've got the most recent input incorporated in here. And as far as like compliance procedurally, after second hearing, we'll schedule the public hearing for it. Public hearing, public inputs will be received by council. There's no debate. Then council can decide whether or not to proceed to third reading and adoption, or revise if they need changes. If council does want to proceed to third reading or adoption at that same meeting that there's a public hearing, then no harm, no foul. Council wants to delay it, then there's the question of whether or not some of the, councils ends up hearing, whether or not ends up hearing further representations from the public if kind of violates the procedural fairness that comes along with the public hearing generally. But yes, I'm confident and satisfied that this has been done legally compliant way. And I did run through some of the summaries with our partners at Earthen, look through some of the past files that we have here, and I'm pretty confident in the product.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor? It's unanimous and carried. A question to you, Mr. Malkinson, is do you need a date for the scheduled public hearing, or can you get back to us on that?
Take delivery of the schedule. That's okay. Ownership. I think basically if we did September or the October is what we go for, but public notices would go out and also that just
If I may make a note towards Mr. Malkinson regarding the September, there are members of this council that will be at UBCM and will not be present at the September 2025 regular council meeting. So if we were going to do it during a regular meeting slot, I would recommend that. Fair enough.
And then my question was just going to be, is it going to be part of a regular council meeting or part of the committee?
very, very technically, there's differences in opinions on this. It's a boring kind of corporate officer question. Functionally, it's probably the most appropriate to have it, incorporated as adjunct to the regular. You could, legally have it as a separate public hearing that's scheduled at the same time as a committee of the whole.
Oh, that's lawyer office works for you guys or just staff administration.
The regular probably makes the most sense. Very technically, the law requires us to embargo council's mail and make sure that there's no, village office, representations regarding a potential amendment on a OCP or an amendment of a bylaw subject to a public hearing prior to final reading and adoption. So it's kind of nice if it's all a straight shot, so to speak, right at the end.
So we're not going to mail between now and the public hearing.
What I'm saying is I want to avoid that. It's a very silly process to go through that kind of stuff.
Okay. Moving on to item 12.2.
Recommendation is that council give first reading to bylaw number 1078, Animal Control and Licensing Amendment 5.
Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councilor Whittle. Thank you. Mr. Malkinson?
Sorry, thank you, Your Worship. There's a couple of things that might be relevant for council's consideration in the bylaws that are presented. So, I'm stealing Jimmy's thunder. Jimmy, do you want to speak to that?
Are you sure, Mr. Hull? You've worked very, 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 very hard on this.
I think we discussed it before, so I feel confident if you would like to.
Well, I would just like to acknowledge that Mr. Ho, our intern, has been working on this for about 2 months, and he's been doing a phenomenal job.
So this, at a high level is supposed to be kind of a definition change on animal control to comply with the community charter. Section 49's language is about dangerous dogs, and to create a subsidiary, or rather, just change the term on the subsidiary classification prior to the dangerous designation in the bylaw. As we prepped those amendments, we had to cross-reference with the municipal ticket information and the fees and charges bylaw. And the fees and charges bylaw we noticed had some inconsistencies and that they needed to tidy up. There are some inconsistencies that Jimmy has noted in his report here that bear a little bit of consideration by you all. And that's particularly, he's flagged that, I'm down through the 200 pages of
I know.
I had to do the same thing.
Yeah. Is it under the impact on the policy staff, or
It's the fee schedule, Your Worship. It's Jimmy notes in his report that
yeah, the
curiously
fees and penalties and rates?
correct. The dangerous dog appears to be set at a lower rate than the high risk dog, which is probably the opposite of what we suspect council would want.
Yeah.
That's an interpolation from the prior copy of the fees and charges, so we just want council direction on that. I can lay it out for you more clearly if you like.
Yes, Councilor Wall?
Mr. Malkinson, would you, or Mr. Ho, would you guys prefer a motion? I suspect this is just a minor clerical error and the boxes got flipped.
Correct. Yeah.
Would it be appropriate if we make the motion to reverse the number, like flip the numbers in each box?
Is there another point that you would like to make that means that needs attention that Councillor Wall could include within his overall recommendation?
So I would only add that it seems like, the dangerous dog sort of, license designation, that price, or that fee is actually, consistent with the prior, schedule for, bylaw 1005 prior to all the changes, and with a slight, I guess, some index of increase. Meanwhile, the high-risk dog one has no precedence, and I think it was just an arbitrary $180 included. I would say perhaps we should just lower that amount.
Can you point it out?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make sure we get the proper language.
110.
Well, this is the thing of all the different bylaws.
And then all got amalgamated, everyone's.
Oh, yeah.
I did call today about this.
Jimmy suggested on the, forgive me because it took me a little bit, but he suggested the dangerous dog license doesn't appear to have been indexed, despite council's previous direction to make sure that that was indexed. So we can add the, percentage increase onto it if council wishes, or we can just carry it forward and, capture it in an amendment, in a CPI increase in a future year.
Okay, so I'm just, I would like to note, we are about to make a motion within a motion, which generally we don't normally do, but I don't wanna make, I don't wanna accept first reading without making this change.
Wouldn't this be covered, sorry, wouldn't this be covered under, 12.3, this adjustment?
Are we?
Because we're in 12.2 right now, we're not the animal bylaw, so the bylaw is different than the fee, is it not?
They are separate items, yeah. My
Yeah,
apologies.
so,
Okay, no
Might be
worries.
jumping.
I'm just
So
saving
then-
you from jumbling.
But
the
they are referenced within each other.
They are, yeah, my apologies on that.
Yeah, so would that recommendation be easier for him to make it between 12.2 and 12.3, so we accept the first reading, and then he makes the recommendation for the fee change, and then we do the first reading of the, yep, he's liking that, there we go. All right, so we're gonna stick with the first reading of the bylaw number 1078, animal control and licensing amendment bylaw. Any other discussion regarding that proposed bylaw? Councilor Rebel?
So the purpose of this change is to make consistent the definition of what a dangerous dog is, to update it with the current community charter pieces, and then also add in high-risk dog, which was referred to in the consolidated user fee bylaw, yet didn't have an actual definition in the original bylaw. So we're just, making the dangerous dog consistent, adding in the high-risk dog so there's an actual definition, so bylaw has, some teeth in enforcing it, so to speak. But, and then with that, it's just a definitional piece.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna call the question then. All those in favor? And that is carried. Councilor Wall?
Before we proceed to the next item, I would like to make a motion. And my motion is that the fee schedule for high-risk dogs and dangerous dogs be consistent with our previous bylaw 1205, and that an index in those price increases be included within the current bylaw.
Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councilor Whittle. Is that the correct language that you're looking for? Yes, Mr. Hoser?
Just wanted to double check, are you referring to just correcting the, fees?
Flip them around.
Flipping them and then-
Flip them in index.
I just wanted to double check though, in terms of what the dangerous dog fee is currently, would be perhaps the same price as what residents have been seeing for like the previous years, and maybe we just half the high-risk dog.
And reduce the cost of the high-risk dog
Okay, yeah.
in that table.
Are you still willing to second that, Councilor Whittle?
No.
He's like, no, I want them to pay more.
No, so I'm the RCMP liaison, right? And I get phone calls from the RCMP, and I have within the last month.
Yeah.
I've got phone calls about high-risk dogs and dangerous dogs that have attacked people,
Yeah.
went after people. So I'm not in favor of reducing that fee at all. I
I
would
want
actually.
to flip the prices
Yeah,
around.
flipping I'm all right with, but I'm not in favor of reducing it. If anything, I'd be in favor of increasing it. If you have a dangerous dog, you should pay for it.
This would be for the license, or the licensing, not the penalty though.
That's correct.
Yeah, but if it's already registered or identified as a
dangerous.
dangerous dog, well then it's gonna put our staff at risk, our public at risk. They should have to pay more.
I don't think that's
Environmental
what
monitoring.
I don't think that's what Mr. Ho's saying.
No, he wants to reduce the fee, but I think leaving.
He wants to reduce the high-risk dog fee, because right now the high-risk dog fee is sort of in conjunction with the dangerous dog, so he wants the high-risk dog to be half of what the dangerous dog fee, is that correct?
So that the dangerous dog people are paying more than the high-risk dog people.
As long as they're paying more for a high-risk dog, right?
Sorry.
Okay, and is that the language that is being,
Dangerous dog is the big one. High risk dog is the lower threshold.
lower the threshold, yeah,
That's correct.
okay. And so within the language of the motion, are you comfortable with that? Yes?
You know what I mean by it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and are you happy with that, Councillor
Yeah,
Rowe?
I don't wanna see a reduction, like, I don't want people paying less because they have.
It definitely won't be a reduction.
Because it's a risk to our contractor that does bylaw, it's a risk to the public.
That's correct.
No? Okay, thank you, so then that motion, the seconding is still accepted, and the motion is now on the floor. Yes.
Okay, so we were talking about an alteration to 1079 for the, consolidated municipal fees and charges amendments bylaw. We're talking about increasing or flipping the cost of the dangerous and the high-risk dogs. Just a question for clarification. Are there currently any licenses within the village that are for high-risk dogs and or dangerous dogs?
Yes.
Yes,
There are.
yes.
Would the increased fee be immediate, or would it be the next calendar year? How would this implementation work?
I'd have to
Prorated.
confirm with the bylaw, but it would take effect at the next, likely at the next calendar year.
January 1st,
I'm
2026?
expecting we do it at an annual interval, not as they come.
Yeah, exactly. People just may stroll in on January 15th or 30th to pay for their next year or something. There's no prorating. It would just take effect. So we're assuming it is what it is for 2025.
Yeah, and then
This would
it'll
be
change.
taking action in 2026.
Remember, this is only first reading, we still gotta go
Just to
through.
confirm, I've made the motion to flip,
Flip those, yes.
flip the prices, make them consistent with the previous bylaw,
Yeah,
Yes.
and to index the price. So you
Yes.
can see where it's.
Yes.
That was the one that wasn't indexed, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the one that
dangerous,
wasn't
dangerous dog, 11076.
Okay,
okay.
that's all three things I wanted.
Would it not be easier? So sorry, the problem comes from the high-risk dog is at 180 and that was indexed properly, but the dangerous dog was not indexed properly and that's why it's a lower fee. Is that the issue?
Yeah, I'm not sure I can speak to the transposition error, but, basically the dangerous dog being the, requiring the highest monitoring burden, under the charter and, per our bylaw, likely would require, the highest, annual permit fee. Whereas a, high-risk dog license, perhaps, appears to be intended to be that, 11076 figure.
If I may be so bold, should we not just keep the high-risk dog at 180 and then figure out that percentage piece and then propose, say, to whatever that dangerous dog is going to be? Is that the understanding? The dangerous dog is what needs to change?
Well, no, so, I understand wanting it to be higher, but we also need to, if you're talking about keeping the high-risk dog at 180 and then changing the dangerous dog to over 200, you need to realize that there's also other municipalities, and that when this fee schedule was created, it was sort of done over a branch of looking at what other municipalities are doing. That would be largely outside the financial scope of what other municipalities are charging, so I'd just like you to be aware of that.
But that's why I think we can't truly proceed with the first reading of this bylaw amendment without the numbers in front of us.
The numbers would be, dangerous dog would be 180, high-risk dog would be 110.
76.
Would it,
It's the flip.
and, these will be presented, corrected at second
In the
reading
second
as well.
reading, yeah.
Okay, so those are the numbers we're going with. Okay, thank you.
Just to Councilor Ravel's point there, to increase the cost from $180, I would see an issue with that for the simple reason being, how many people who have a dangerous dog will now decide this cost is prohibitive and will just not register their dog?
Yeah, that's another worry too, yeah.
Yeah, but then the cost, if not registering your dog, they're paying
That's a pretty big
hundreds and
fine.
hundreds of dollars to get your animal back on.
If you're caught, some people might take that risk.
There's a small number of dangerous dogs, they're regularly monitored by Sam, so it would be, we wouldn't be worth our salt if we, weren't catching that kind of stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so I'm just gonna move, so with the reading of this, and thank you to Councillor Little for catching that, it'll be the first reading, but do we need to add on as amended? Or because the first reading can happen and then that change will be shown on the second reading?
That's correct. Sorry, are you suggesting, where's the as amended going?
Yeah, so I'm just saying, should it state that the council give the first reading to the bylaw animal control?
On the recommendation itself?
Council give first reading to bylaw number 10079 consolidated fees and charges, bylaw as amended or amendment, or like, do we need to add that in, or are we fine, just cause we?
You know, a dual clause, your worship, it would be the council, make the following amendments to, bylaw 1079, as presented by staff, and.
That's what I just did.
Yep.
But we're not reading it yet.
And then the second clause would be, and that first reading be granted.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful, awesome.
Stay principle.
Okay, so can you reread the recommendation that's currently on the floor?
Sure. Do you have?
I might need help with that,
Yep, for
because
sure.
I'm trying to think, so what you're saying is, the recommendation is that we do the first reading, or
Sorry,
first
yeah.
reading as amended.
Yep. I-
With,
Yeah, fair enough. So the suggested here would
No,
be,
well said.
the council approve the following amendments to bylaw 1079, 2025, that the dangerous dog license fee be replaced with the high-risk dog license fee, and that the fine for the high-risk dog license be indexed in accordance with prior indexing practices.
Is that the understanding of the motion that you have made?
Yes, and that the high-risk dog license fee be replaced with the dangerous dog license.
Yeah, that is being flipped, yeah.
Yes, it's being flipped. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
And you're still comfortable with your second? Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the question.
And that'd be consistent with our previous bylaw 1205.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna call the question, all those in favor? And that's unanimous and carried, thank you.
Thank you.
Now we will move on to
Sorry.
Point Break. No, I
Sorry for
just
the
really like to
confusion
make
on
sure
that one. No.
everybody knows what they're voting on and the
Absolutely.
public knows, the action that the council.
Completely
I feel
appropriate.
it's appropriate if I read the next one.
Hang on, I got a point of order
Yeah.
question, sorry to be that guy, I should have caught this earlier. When we're reading the bylaws, just a clarification, we're reading bylaw number 1079, should that not in the public reading include 2025, like the full bylaw, or does that not need to be included?
That's the way we'll write it. Yes. So I think
I'm just looking at the reading, because we look at 12.1, the way that bylaw is written, versus the way 12.3 and 12.2 are written.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering for clerical reasons if we have to.
Give me which one is off?
So my understanding is that 12.1 isn't an amendment.
No, but the
These are
way the
amendments.
bylaw is, no, not like when we're adopting the first reading of bylaw, right?
Yeah.
So like when we adopt bylaw number 1053, 2025, second reading, right? Now we come down to bylaw number 1078,
8.
and then it ends. Should that not be 2025 as well? Animal control?
Should, where is it? I'm just not seeing where it
Just
is.
on the agenda items themselves.
Just
Yeah,
on the
12.2 and
agenda.
12.3 on the agenda items.
Oh, you're correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, that is a typo. Yeah,
Okay.
My apologies.
I just wanted to make sure so we don't have to go back and redo first reading because we left out 2025 in the public reading of
Fair
it.
enough, fair enough.
That's
No,
fair.
I appreciate that.
So
In
we
your-
need to we need to fix 12.2's motion then because 2025 wasn't included in the
I
motion.
think I said it.
That's the way that we recorded it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure because I don't want to see these 6 more times.
Do we need a motion to amend the agenda or something?
No, we're totally fine.
Just gonna read
Councillor
it.
Wall is gonna just read it correctly and make sure it includes 2025. Off you go, Councillor Wall.
My recommendation is that council give the first reading to bylaw number 1079, 2025, the consolidated municipal fees and charges amendment bylaw,
Can I get a seconder?
with the changes.
Seconder, Councillor Whittle, thank you. Discussion regarding the amendment?
Did we not just do this?
No, we just made it so that we could do this change.
We
and
amended
now-
the amendment bylaw.
Yes.
Oh,
And then I was getting technical.
We're amending the amendment of the amendment of the amendment to the amendment.
Leave it to one of us is going to find some technical things.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay, but the
Seconds this
spirit is that
These have been fun.
dangerous dogs will cost $180, high risk dogs will cost $110.76.
It was a typo in the last consolidated.
Stuff happens. My question truly is, why is that allowed? Why is it, I don't know, like, I think the question still has to be asked is, why is a dangerous dog allowed in the village at all? If the definition is it's injured a person, that seems quite the issue. Just honestly, somebody's got to mention that. And I don't mean to open a whole can of worms. I know people have various animals at various stages and whatnot, but
We'll leave
I've
it
known.
real quick, he's gonna bring up PETA. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, thanks for the question, Your Worship. This was something I was doing a little bit of a dive on this afternoon. Basically, I think it's section 49 of the charter offers, some additional tools to dogs that are designated dangerous dogs, and some additional, monitoring, additional, court application powers for dangerous dogs. So it's not so much that, again, I don't want to suppose what your folks' policy goals are, but I think, the big benefit of having that designation via the bylaws to permit the animal control officer to make an application, to have dog restored. Basically, the dangerous dog is the dog is on the thinnest device possible, and if the animal control officer comes to the reasonable belief that that dog poses a threat to animals or a threat to a human, they can apply to a court to have it restored, which is right at the limits of municipal power. Some people obviously care very deeply about their animals.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the RCMP also have the authority under our current bylaws to enforce them as well. So it gives them a little more tools in their toolbox when it comes to stuff within the municipality.
True enough. And the RCMP as well, they have I can't remember what federal act it's under, but they do have the authority to basically preserve, peace and stability in the community, and under that, sometimes they do have the statutory authority to destroy dogs if they think that they're, maybe outside, the municipal, they can do it on the spot. But, this gives more tools for bylaw to basically follow up and enforce, require additional, safety measures, like, keeping muzzling, stuff like that. Enhanced fencing requirements, etc.
Thank you. Nicole, question then? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Carried. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to item number 12.4.
Bylaw number 1080/2025, municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw.
Pretty good.
Recommendation that council gives first reading to bylaw number 1080/2025, municipal ticketing information amendment bylaw.
Say 2025.
I said 2025. I did.
Can I get a seconder on that? Seconded by Councillor Walt. Thank you. Any discussion, Councillor Rabble?
So is this purely pertaining to the pieces, the several different potential fines for dangerous versus high-risk dogs? Were those prices flipped as well? What's the changes that we're looking at here?
Your Worship, the changes here are the alignment with the new terms in the animal control bylaw. So the dangerous dog and high-risk dog are reflected in the schedule. So it's a repeal and replace deal with schedule with the new terms.
So there are those three things: allowing dangerous, fails muzzle, notice. It's just duplicated now for high-risk dog. That's the addition. We've added in more pieces, right? And then made appropriate slotting for, that's dangerous is 300 for those infractions versus 200 for high risk. That's the change essentially in its essence.
No, there was an outdated vicious dog term in the old animal control bylaw. We replaced that, or rather, council has just passed first reading of that being replaced by dangerous dog to have that legislative consistency.
Yeah.
But there's a number of bylaws that animal control touches, right? There's CISA charges and there's MTI. So this is basically a concurrent amendment to municipal ticketing information bylaw to make sure that those terms are correct, to give the bylaw control officer the authority when he writes somebody a ticket, say, okay, this is a dangerous dog offense, not a vicious dog offense.
Because now we've got the definitions in alignment, and
Yes.
now this needs to be in alignment,
That's
which
correct.
makes sense. However, once this bylaw is through its third and final reading, it will be as immediate effect as of the third reading then.
That's correct.
Okay?
Any other discussion? Nicole? No question then, all those in favor? That is unanimously carried. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 13, CAO report. The council received the CAO report for information, county sector. Seconded by Councillor Long. I'm thinking, hang on, the clocks are turning. I would definitely like you to just kind of present on some of the different things that you've been working on, and know you've been, how many weeks has it been now? 2? 3? I know, wow. And so, I know, so I would definitely love to hear a little bit about how that is going. So I'm gonna call the vote on receiving for information, so I can get that out of the way, but I would like you to speak on it. That's the clock's moving. All those in favor of receiving for information? All right. Mr. Robinson, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship. I tried to group some of the categories together in this report to provide just some little points on what I've been up to. Before I get into that, yeah, it's been a bit of a blur. Definitely a lot of things on the go. It's fun, doing the history, learning how much role you have, building relationships with the folks in the office. I definitely appreciate it. Public works and the fire hall, of course. It's been great getting to meet some of the folks in the community, and I know that it's important to make sure I have those relationships as well. So I'm not told that in the work that I'm presenting to you guys. For the capital side, again, paving works, as we've already discussed, are underway. Held some good conversations with Urban on Lagoon, the Lagoon project and zoning bylaw engagements going forward, and how we can maintain the communication lines between the team. There'll probably be, I'm sure, there'll be names on both of those. So built a bit of a inventory of all the projects that are on the go. Again, it's just my priority to make sure that I don't have something 2 weeks from now saying, oh yeah, we're also doing this. I really wanted to make sure I was thorough and took stock of all the different things that we had on the go to make sure we're being realistic with what's being proposed right now, or what's in the works in the office. So I've met with a few different staff to get their advice on how much time is this going to take, what's been the history to date, how are we moving this forward, what does success look like, and it's my hope to help that scaffold into a bit of a prioritization or advice from council on what staff can prioritize going forward. Took a couple of site tours around the village, Big Lagoon construction site, and around some of the repairs and maintenance that needs to be done around the village. So that's been quite enjoyable. A little bit of freedom of information administration on the go. Just a heads up, I think there's been some conversation over the last little while about some tax exemption processes. We're hoping to present a report for council in September on how we can, add a bit of an application process into the mix for, local groups that wish to apply. There's conversations I'm having with Jimmy about basically reinitiating or initiating the bylaw and policy review program, basically under his leadership, where we can just periodically, present in a routine fashion some policies or bylaws for council approval to make sure that those bylaws and policies are current and that they're doing what folks want. Policy, of course, is the way that you guys got. We're periodically presenting those, then hopefully there's better alignment within between village and council and stakeholders. Discussed some general approaches on the budget schedule for, I should say, 2026 with CFO and staff, and I think we've got some plans together for building those requests and how they'll filter into the 2026 prelim reports, like the first reports that you post to. So that'll be upcoming as well. We met with Iron Wolf Athletics to discuss some shared priorities over the next couple of months. There's still it's been a good conversation. I think there's a lot of energy on Iron Wolf's end to move some things forward. I think it's, my challenge is in being, practical about what we can move forward with and make sure that there's clarity on what the shared expectations are at that site. Yeah, I mentioned some of my attendance at different events. There's some good bylaw enforcement work that's going on right now. A little bit of camping in village parks. We're introducing some signage to make it super inescapably clear that that's not the village's expectation. There's also some measures that bylaws working right now too. We did get confirmation from CN this morning that they will, again, this is a conversation that was had last year. Some paperwork was passed along to me, but just get that right-of-way cut between Highway 2, Railway, and Carlin, and just get that fixed up. Yeah, it's the story that Bylaw was telling me last week was when he was talking to a resident about their grass growing a little high, and he's standing here, resident's standing there, just looking over his shoulder at the guys who are on the
Across the street from them,
That's
yeah.
right, yeah. So it's a bit of a it's something that we are quoting out this week, and we do have confirmation that we'll pay for that work. Send an invoice, so that's a positive thing. Fire truck and a few different grant application conversations are underway. I think I'm trying to get a big lasso around all the grants right now, and that's working with Andy, working with a few different spreadsheets that I found in Village Files, and working with Grant Watch as well. So there's a few different projects that grant funding is obviously crucial to. There's some good records I've seen, but it's nice to just have the comprehensive backup in place. And we did submit the DIT Economic Development Support Grant this week, and I'll post once we have funding confirmation. So positive news there. And Jimmy sent out some great letters to local seniors providers speaking of the benefits and the opportunities within the Horizons for Seniors program. So there's some we're trying to partner with local providers to make sure that they're empowered with grant dollars that are circulating. That's some stuff.
Wonderful. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it, and I knew that it would be hitting the ground, not only running, but running, flying, and crying. So that's fantastic. I'm glad that you're really liking it.
Stress is fun.
I know, right?
It's been fun so far.
I was so happy to pass that torch off to you. Okay, awesome. So we're going to move on to Councillor's reports. Councillor Johnson is away with notice. Councillor Rabble, what have you been up to?
Not too much related to the village between our committee of the whole and now, except for sending off that email with my suggestions on that seniors aging in place piece. But hey, we've moved that forward, so that's good stuff.
Wonderful. Yes, and thank you so much for sending that off. I'm sad to hear that the response never came through properly. If you are having, any issues with your email, please be sure to reach out to Nortec.
There are some issues with my council email, for
Yes,
sure. But
please reach out to Nortec.
I appreciate that making things more efficient. I think that probably helped everyone
Definitely.
to get that ahead of the piece, because it's very minute, and I really love the minutia. So there it is.
Not to totally, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Thank you. Councillor Wall, what have you been up to?
This might be the smallest report I have ever. Senior supper went well. The fire hall has changed their training from Mondays to Wednesdays.
I noticed that.
Yep. And
I didn't know that because it's always been Wednesdays since I've been here.
they've changed it from Mondays back
It
to
used
Wednesdays.
be Mondays, yeah.
Right.
But no, it's just since he's been here, it's been every Wednesday, so he keeps thinking that that's totally normal.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we're
yeah.
all sitting here going like, this is,
Yeah, I thought they were just
Yeah.
having extra practice.
so did I thought they were just really working
Good on
hard.
them,
Well, okay, good.
And and that it was. They let me know it was because of staff holidays. There's so many staffs on the
Yeah.
Mondays.
Oh, that's so fair.
They kept pushing to the Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So they kept pushing it to the Tuesdays, and now it's
Makes sense.
Wednesday. So
Yeah.
Every
Wonderful.
month.
every month.
Every June.
So
Every week.
I do have a motion to make during my. It's not regarding the WCM.
Yeah.
And it is that counselors who are eligible to receive the wage loss reimbursement have their applications accepted by the village if
for their time at UBCM.
For the time at UBC. If they apply.
Can I get a seconder on that? Seconded by Councilor Ravel, thank you. So just remembering this is part of our policy for some of our longer conferences. UBCM is definitely one of them. While UBCM has been so beneficial to the village of Poughkeepsie over the past 3 years, we have managed to get lots and lots of grant funding, and there's so much advocacy from this council on behalf of the village of Poughkeepsie while you guys are down there.
We've got millions of it.
We've gotten millions out of it, and I think it is important that you shouldn't have to worry about making your regular bill payments while you're gone because you're not being paid. So I'm a huge supporter of the wage loss reimbursement, and I do hope that this council votes in favor of supporting those who are traveling down and are eligible.
So as mentioned, we already have a policy that asks that this be budgeted, assuming all 5 members go and everything.
But
Is it necessary to have a motion every time?
Every time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just for transparency. I think
Yeah,
that's what this
of
council
course.
was kind of wanting at that time.
Just so the public's aware.
Yes.
This is something, even though it's in the policy, it's being transparent, but it might be interesting.
Okay, can I call the question then? All those in favor? And that's unanimous and carried. Thank you. All right, is that everything, Councilor Wall?
Yeah, I got you. That is the motion.
All right, Councilor Whittle, what you been up to?
Oh, I've got a whole heck of a lot regarding council stuff this last while. I did realize, though, I think on the 23rd I did miss the food bank meeting.
You did.
I stopped in a couple weeks prior when I was dropping some stuff off, but they were busy, so I didn't get a chance to touch base with anybody, and now I'm just getting moving again after surgery again, so I will reach out to them again.
They're open every Saturday, it's not my life.
Yeah, no, trick is getting them when they're not super busy.
I know, true.
Yeah, so other than that, and then I gotta do some follow-up, yeah, with some other stuff, and then, that's about it for village stuff. Gonna be working with the Legion to, look at getting, their fire suppression system up and running here in the next few weeks anyway, as time permits, but other than that, that's about it.
All right. Okay, quickly jotted mine down and I will give it to you when I'm all done because it has all my dates on it. Okay, August 14th, I attended the Peace River Regional District meeting, board meeting. Not a lot going on regarding things that I felt needed to kind of be brought forward at this time. It's that weird summertime where you get that weird lag. I have a feeling September is going to be all engines going because it's been kind of quiet and I'm like, oh no, September's gonna be awful. August 20th, I did attend an interprovincial meeting in Swan Hills through my position in the PRRD, and that's just where we are connecting with our communities in Alberta. One of our big talking points was the CN line between Alberta and British Columbia. That was a big topic at the last interprovincial meeting in March or May, I think it was. And there was a lot of buzz around them working with CN to try to get the line from Grand Prairie to Dawson Creek opened again for grain. Of course, that would impact the village of Poughkeepsie. The conversation, it definitely had my wheels going and gears turning. Through the conversation again, it was back on the agenda, and through conversations I've had with CN, while I think it would be great if that potentially did ever open back up, CN at this time has no interest in repairing the trestle bridges that would need to be fixed for the train to go back on them. The county of I'm assuming it's like a drum beat.
No, it's somebody's motorcycle.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
The county of Grand Prairie is still obviously in discussions with CN at this time, but looking forward, there is no future plan for the line to currently open. Other than that, it was a fantastic meeting. It was really just us talking about what the overall job or what the work behind these interprovincial meetings was. So that was really, really great. August 21st, I met with Mr. Malcolmson and the staff and just did my overall weekly check-in. August 22nd, myself and Mr. Malcolmson met with Urban Systems for an update on the lagoon. Please check your email. There is a tour, a site tour, so that we can see all the amazing work that is going to be going on down at the lagoon so far.
It's on September 19th, which is pretty tight, especially for UBCM.
Well, you guys are driving now,
Yeah.
so you guys gotta leave the 19th?
Are you leaving the Friday? Cause UBC doesn't start till Monday.
It depends. I've linked up, actually, I made a connection with a person in agriculture, and I'd like to learn some more about that kind of stuff, yeah.
Okay. Alright. The 19th might not work then.
I can request a different date.
Yeah, maybe ask them if there's a different day. The 19th works for me, but if we could make it.
If we did it in the morning, why don't we do it in the morning and then?
And then scoot on?
We can always make it work.
Like, he's just like sweating.
14 hours.
We can have a meeting in 14 hours.
In the ferry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, forgive me, I know it's on my phone and my calendar. What time on the 19th are you guys looking at doing that?
It was 2 p.m.
It was
Okay. That's a Friday? Yeah, no, probably.
So far, like, we've had the road completely redone and built, so it's actually drivable and you won't lose your muffler. We've had a brand new gate installed. They're now in the midst of beginning the overall work, and the project is on schedule, which is very exciting. So, one of the other things that we did discuss with Urban Systems is, you know, the taxpayers are aware that we have this like $6 million lagoon project that we've been running and working on for like the past 3 years.
Why don't we do a public?
But we can't really, but what we did talk about is, because I would love for the public to see all the work that's like what the $6 million has gotten them. So Urban Systems does own a drone, and they're gonna actually do some above drone video shots to really show the equipment down there working, the riverbank stabilization, the rocks being put in.
Before and after.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much more are they gonna charge us people?
I don't know at that point in time.
I'll have to get back to you.
Yeah. So either way, I think it would be really great for the public to see the work that they've been doing. Because like that's one of the biggest things that we've taken on. It's one of the biggest successes that this council has had in this term. And we are wrapping up the end of these terms, and you know, I just think it would be really, really great for not only for you guys to be able to say this is what I've done, this is what I'm taking part in, but also for the public to actually see like, hey, we took on this huge issue in 2022, and this is what it looks like now.
So basically, this is all the crap we've done with the last.
Literally all the yes. stuff
We
that
can
we-
measure it. We have reports.
Yes, it's one of the largest projects. I know, the outfall pipe, yes, that
That's gonna
is,
be my next question.
Yeah.
What's
the plan? We're gonna fix it.
Yeah, has there been reporting in public on this to you folks? Because I can provide a brief reporting.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a brief report, because I'm kinda curious, I know it's come up, but I've
Yeah.
also heard, like, we didn't know if it was still being looked into, I hadn't heard what the
It is.
solutions was gonna be,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
So-
potential costs involved.
We can talk more, about that in the post for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Councillor Rabbit.
With the drone, sounds like a good idea. Questions about cost, but also, are we too close to the airport or flight restriction
The
heights?
pilots have a process for all that.
Yeah, there must be. There's getting all that
Yeah.
together.
If you're allowed to blow enough.
I know that's extremely technical and
Yeah,
limited
no.
in scope. I think it would be lovely for the public to have as much information and view as to what's going on.
I would just love them to see all the like incredible work that's been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, that was over $6 million, and because it's not in front of us, and it's not a park, and it's not a new building, and it's not nobody ever thinks about it.
Well, the first river's low enough, you can like pretty much hike right down.
Yeah.
There's more grass in the first river right now than there is water.
Come to our beachfront lagoon property, yes, yeah.
They managed to find beavers.
Yeah, they really did, and a ton of
That's my
fish.
beavers in there?
Yeah.
You know, the beavers, yeah, they usually hang out under the bridge, but it's got so shallow, they've actually moved further.
Oh.
Yeah.
But they come up, and in the park, there's a deep spot just outside the park, like when you stand at the park, at the playground, look over the bank, there's a deep spot there, and they'll play in there.
So that's what I did on August 25th, and then after a very interesting weekend on August 22nd, and then after a very interesting weekend on August 25th, I did meet with the North Winds Wellness Center regarding the sign that was down at the construction site. As you'll see, the sign has been removed, and we are awaiting a brand new sign with the correct information on it. Yes. So once the brand new sign has been completed and is talking more about our project and what we're doing here, they will be putting it up. Northwoods also stated that they're thinking about putting up some boards that show what the treatment center looks like and talks a bit more about the ARC model for the treatment center that's being built there.
Just because it's been quite the hubbub,
Yes,
I just want to confirm that it is only going to be a rehab and treatment.
it's a treatment center.
It is a treatment center, it is nothing else.
It's nothing else.
The housing units are for the people that have went through the program, it's not
Yes.
gonna be homeless or.
They will be living there while they be treated, while they're being treated.
Because the ARC model is a 3-year treatment, right? So
They
it's
can't come and go as they please.
it's a long-term
And
treatment.
they're gonna provide security as well.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna-
Discussions with them, and the property's gonna be fenced.
They're gonna have their own bus, they're not allowed to go in and out of the community unless they're bused in and out. It's like a whole thing, yes. Councilor.
The other piece too is this is, you know, an enterprise, this is something conducted by a private entity in a way. It's Northwinds itself
Yes.
with, you know, assistance through various grants and whatnot, but,
Various partners, yeah.
Coos is just so happens to be the municipality it's in. Like, I don't think we are, like, the village is not actively building this, right?
No.
This is not something that's actively, like, it just so happens to be the municipality, just as somebody would.
We've advocated on their behalf to get the funding to complete the program.
I think the only thing we've done is public consultation.
And that was literally for like zoning, like all public consultation has been up to Northwinds, it's
Mm.
And they've done it multiple
they've
times
done
over the
so
years
much
with,
public.
and they've got some
consultation.
people that come up, but there's been other times they've shown up and like nobody's come to ask
Nobody's
questions,
shown up.
right? So.
Yeah. Except for us, we always go and then there's just us there, we already know all about it.
And we even brought Isaac back for an additional delegation.
He was here like, what, 2 months ago?
Yeah, we brought him back a few times.
A couple of times,
He's
yeah.
been here 4 times since I've been on council.
Yeah. So please look forward to the new sign. It will be coming up with the information regarding the treatment center that is being built. We're very excited to see it up. So keep an eye out for it. On August 26th, I connected with Mr. Melkinson again. We've just been connecting a lot. It's just been me and him hanging out on the phone. And then I again was sort of connecting with Northwinds Wellness Center today, as I was hoping the new sign would be up sooner rather than later, but they're still working on the language on it, so.
It takes time.
It does. 2 things I would like you guys to note as well. Tomorrow the village office is closed, so they're going to be doing the site inspection at the community center, as well as doing some overall paper shredding, confidentiality, shredding, and filing. So the people will be in the office, but it will not be open to the public because they're going to be up to their eyeballs in papers. And
This
we're
was
still
the
meeting
sign.
tomorrow, right? Even though that's happening, we're still meeting tomorrow, even though that's.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. You know what's gonna happen, you guys are gonna give me a box and be like, here you go, here's one, you can go through this one. Okay, perfect, and then UBCM, I've been in contact with Mr. Hoke, he has been letting me know what meetings have been accepted and what meetings have not. So far, the Minister of Transportation has been accepted, and what was the one today? Emergency management. So those are the 2 minister meetings that have been set up. Now, Mr. Ho did have a question to this council. If you, for the ministers that have said no, would you like to meet with their staff? So it's a bit of a change.
That deadline was on the 20th.
Oh crap, I'm so
We
sorry.
can request late and see,
Yeah.
see if we gotta apply.
If you would like to meet with their staff,
What ministries were those?
the ones that we got turned down for were,
Municipal affairs and housing and forests.
yeah, those 2. So,
Give it a shake.
I'd like to talk to forests.
Give it a shake.
for to the staffing?
Your issues with forests, do you want to read the issues?
Or was it public safety?
Well, with forests, it was wildfire risk assessments
Yeah.
and fuel management strategy. And with MAH, it was, sorry, it was regional funding pathways for wastewater upgrades and regional emergency services infrastructure upgrades.
I would like a request for forests.
So you're fine meeting with the staff?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you need a recommendation for that?
If you'd be so kind, Your Worship.
Okay. Would you like to make the recommendation for staff to book the meeting with staff?
I make the appropriate recommendation.
Second.
Councilor Ravel, okay?
I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Nope, you're basically allowing them to apply for you to meet with the Minister of Forestry staff. to
Because
bring
it's,
your concerns.
because they have the funding.
Yeah.
It's important stuff. Let's advocate for our village.
Totally. Okay, I'm gonna call the question then. All those in favor? And that's unanimous and carried. Thank you. Okay, I think that was every note that I had to make to you guys. So, I remember some of those on the fly. Let me tell ya, good thing I napped. All right, so question period. Nobody is here. So I'd like to make the recommendation that council move into close as per section 91C, E, G, I, and K of the community charter. Okay, seconded by Councillor Whittle. Any other discussion regarding? All those in favor? We're going to take a short break before we begin the closed session.